Sexy. ETEM Hatep Sini Sinet Uncle Jet Uncle Johnson. We're going live tonight, man. Couple things we need to just hatch out and get off our chest. So the crew is begging to go live. My girl over here running around. So we're gonna chime in. Everybody wanted to go live. I was kind of in a compromised position, but we here. I just put the link over there for them. Let's see if they go. Let's see if they want to go live. We was talking about a few different things. We'll share those in just a minute. We live right now. Y'all can go share the link. Go share the link so we can get it in. Here's our brother Wudjau. We're gonna let some more people hop in the building. Let me tell brother Wudjau. About to go in.
All right, what's up? So can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's a little echo, so I'm gonna mic down when you start talking.
All right, I'm gonna mute my mic. So you I guess it's your live. So you set the conversation up, and I'll mute my mic, and then I'll chime in. So you set it up however you like.
Okay, let's get it. So the discussion, for those who have been watching, is there's a few discussions on the table. The one we were discussing tonight was, how do we know it means Kemet the Black Land? Basically, is that a fair assessment?
Well, that's not the understanding I have of the conversation.
So you the guest, so I'm gonna let you set the table for us.
Okay, all right, so I'll do that then. Yeah, I'm hearing a little echo. Okay, there we go. So now this is my understanding of the conversation, so if I outline it and I'm wrong, then you chime in and let me know your assessment of this conversation. The conversation started when you saw a Facebook post of mine where I am discussing the proper way to transliterate feminine plural words as opposed to feminine collective words. And so the example I used was a particular word that's transliterated as Kemet, with the I6, the bread loaf, the seated man, seated woman, and then the 3 strokes. And so I show that many people falsely will transliterate that as if it is a feminine plural, and they'll transliterate it as Kemet 2. And I was correcting that in the post. And so in there, that's the focus of the post, and that's the wording of the post and within the picture. But in there, I defined that specific word Kemet as the nation of the riparian country. And so what it looks like, you took issue not with the post or the intent of the post about the feminine plural being transliterated this or that way. You took issue with the word country. And so you asked me, how did I come away with country for that particular word? Like at first you asked me, do I believe that word is referring to a description of the people, like skin color, as if they're black? And I answered you straight out and said, no, had nothing to do with description. And then you asked me, then you started to talk about country. How does it deal with country? And so long story short, I told you that even in the English phrase that I gave, the nation of the riparian country, the focus is on the word nation. The nation of the riparian country simply qualifies, the word nation. So there's no focus on country at all. The focus is on the nation, and the nation is a group of people. And we refer to a group of people as a nation in the abstract. And that's really where a summary of the conversation. And by your by your own admission, when I said that to you and you finally caught on, you yourself said, well, finally, that's all you had to say. And I'm paraphrasing. You said, basically, finally, that's all you had to say, whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, cool. And so my impression at that point was that the conversation was done, that, you thought I meant one thing. I clarified it for you, and you okay. But since then, I'm seeing videos. You know, you posted videos, and you're still talking about it. And even in the inbox I was invited to today, I see people still talking about that. So that's where I am. That's where I am. So if I'm wrong, you know, go ahead and you know, let me know what your assessment is.
Got you. So I'm gonna set the table a little bit different than that, but almost the gist of it right there. Hold up, I'm gonna share just so I can show. I'm just gonna show what I saw, which made me question real quick, and I'll discuss it as we go. So we had a discussion. Actually, the brother Wudjau had said, goodness, all this stuff up. He had posted something in the Seshu Ma'ani Medu room. I think this is it. And he posted this. Yeah. And it says, Kemet, the nation of the riparian country. So the first part he's right about. I actually agreed with this, the Kim Wet portion. We were in agreement. The part that I had discourse with was this here. It says the nation of the riparian country. And the reason I had an issue with this is because of two things. One, when you look at the Medu here, this Medu and this Medu, we don't get riparian country, we get Kemet, which refers to these people. And if it was referring to the nation, because we were talking about people, I actually pointed that out first in the thread. I wanted to make sure he was talking about people, and that from this right here, you can't get this full sentence. It would be the nation of the black land, if anything, because of the Medu that is being used here. Kim in particular as an adjective, a noun adjective when it's used for country, and in this case describing the people. And the feminine T, rule, here being used in the feminine genitive sense of singular or plural, because you can't tell the difference unless you have a sentence in Medunecho. So I remember saying I need more diacritic marks to see where you get riparian country from. And after we got into that discourse, I made some comments concerning. I just threw them in there. I said, oh, I see you guys are recognizing the feminine T rule. And you had mentioned some things about no scholars use feminine T, some different things of that nature. And then I said you had posted a second portion, family. You had posted, let me see if I have that one here. Not that. Where's the? You had posted.
Just real quick, if I may, real quick.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Just so you know, I have the actual post prepped up and ready to share if you ever want to share it, so that people can see exactly what was said in the order that it was said, and so on and so forth. You know, if you want to do that.
Got you. I actually have it too. And when I did the last video, I showed it as well. That's great. You want to show it? Absolutely.
I have it. I have it already prepped. That's all I'm saying.
Got you. I'm with you. Let me see if I got the So that's the one. Hold on. Let me see if I can find the second one.
But so while you're looking for that, if I can, let me just address what you said so that we don't get lost in the conversation. Can you put that back up, the picture? Oh, I have it. I should.
You got it. Yeah. I was going to let you start sharing, and I was going to finish up what I was saying. But
okay. Let me just the picture you just had up. If you had it handy, so I wouldn't have to.
You could share. You want me to?
No, it's no problem.
If I screen share and hit your icon, it should show your screen, right?
No, I could share it. It's fine. Just give me 1 second. I mean, I'm.
Okay. So let me finish up with what I was saying, then.
All right.
That way we could finish, right? So after I said we need more diacritic marks, and I said you had posted a sentence, And the sentence gave me clarification. So I said, oh, okay. So I said, so we do mean people. But then you
I think.
second picture, it said.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It said in the second picture. Go ahead, fam.
I'm sorry. I'm moving my mic. I think you're cutting out. I don't know if it's because of me or your signal. Go ahead.
Oh, I might be. I'm over here, my girl. Hold on, what's that? Yeah, it froze up on me. Then it cut off on me.
So I can hear you. I can hear you well now.
Y'all can hear me again? Okay, back. Turn this fan this way, baby. I think that's probably what's the it's dying again on me. There it is. Hello? Check, check, 1, 2. And I'm the cool check-in center. All right, back. So after that, right? You had posted a second picture, which showed the land and the country as an answer. And when you did that, it's pointing to Kemet as a country only, because when we speak grammatically and when we write grammatically, they're going to be two different things and two different rules. And so that's where, see, I'm stuck again. Look, it's frozen. Check, check, check.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
I hear you.
I'm still good? Okay. It's
Yeah.
freezing on my screen. That's why I'm like, uh-oh. So, yeah, the second one, tell me if I cut out. The second one you posted mentioned the country, and it says not people in the toponym, in the subject, in the category. So then I said, well, why would you answer with this if we're talking about people? So then I had to get clarification from you, like, you are talking about people, right? And then it took you a while before you said, yes, people.
Okay, so just so we don't get too away from each point, let's kind of volley back and forth on each point. The reason why I showed you the second picture is really the first picture. The reason why I showed you inside of a comment that picture was to tell you that if I was talking about the country, because you asked me, am I talking about people, country, or land? And I said, if I'm talking about a country, this is the rendition of it speaking about the country, because these are the toponyms. So that should have clarified, not confused, because I said that it's talking about people, the nation. And then I was saying, I showed you, matter of fact, let me just show it on the screen. I mean, I don't know if other people will be able to see it, but as I'm talking, my screen is always shared. So if I'm talking and people see whatever, then they'll be able to see it. But this first picture right here that I'm showing on my screen right now is the picture where you first chimed in on the conversation. And like you just said earlier, you didn't really have a problem with what I'm saying inside of the picture, except for this word country, because as you said earlier, these glyphs up here, doesn't show country or whatever the case is.
No, riparian country, right?
Because riparian
land, right? Go ahead.
Okay, so riparian country. So what I explained to you is that the riparian country is a translation of Kemet. So in other words, if I would have wrote it like this, as you see it on my screen right now, if I would have just said the nation of Kemet, I asked you, would you have had a problem with that if I would have written it this way, the nation of Kemet? And so then I told you that what I'm doing is that I'm also translating the Kemet, because Kemet is not an English word. So instead of leaving it as Kemet and saying the nation of Kemet, I'm actually translating Kemet as meaning the riparian country. So altogether, it's the nation of riparian country. But regardless of all of that, this word does not refer to the land. This word does not refer to the country. It refers to the nation of people, the people. And that's what I told you. And once I told you that, I thought that ended the conversation. I thought that ended the confusion and whatever. So
You actually didn't tell me that though. Remember, in the thread, I say, I believe you're referring to the people. I had already made the clarification that we must be talking about people. But the only issue is with that picture, if we do phonetically break, if we phonetically break down the medu that's there, we don't get iat, which would be riparian. We get kemet, which would mean black, because the noun adjective kim breaks down phonetically with the K and an M, and the feminine T rule makes it a feminine singular or plural. And we can't tell which one unless we have a syntax or we have a sentence, which are two different things. But yes, if we had those, then we could determine if it was feminine or plural. But
let me ask you a question then, real quick.
ahead,
What you just said, you said that you don't see iot there. So of course the word iot is not there. But you also don't see the word the there either. You don't see the word nation.
Those are conjunction.
No. But I'm saying actually the is an article. But the thing is that
a conjunction in a sentence. The kemet, right?
It's an article. It's called an article. It's a definite article, to be precise. Yeah, but
it's like a conjunction in a sentence, right? Go ahead.
No, a conjunction joins two things. That's and or are conjunctions. The and a and an are
actually, you're right there. You're right. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I don't want to get off onto that. But what I'm saying is that none of the English is there in the glyphs. So what we're dealing with is what we know as translations, and translations are 99.9% of the time never. I say never. 99.9% of the time, you cannot do a one-for-one translation, walking from a source foreign language into a target language. So you have to improvise a bit to deal with the grammar of the source language, because English grammar does not match the ancient Egyptian grammar.
No.
So the word of and all that stuff is not in there. So the word kemet is in there. So I show that by plain as day, where I transliterate it as KMT. So that should go without saying. That word is how this entire set of glyphs is transliterated. So that I shouldn't have to say that this is KMT when I'm showing it. This is KMT. All I'm doing here is translating what this word means. So this is a semantic endeavor. So I'm saying that this is referring to the nation of Kemet. And I'm translating the word Kemet as well as riparian country, because the word riparian, well, let me ask you, do you know what the word riparian means?
Yes, I broke it down on the video before, but you're saying riparian, and I'm telling you, there's no riparian in that word right there, and that's my point. So when you transliterate, good, you got the phonetics down, but now when you transcribe it, you would need to add vowels from the language you're bringing it into, which would be English, or you would add words into that in order to make a full translation. And when you make a translation of the word Kemet, you won't get riparian country. You would need a word like Iat for that.
Okay, let me ask you, what does Iat mean?
Iat means watery, waterway.
Okay, so
it also means what was the other one? I think it was dripping, and there's a few other terms for it. But
okay, so what does, just quickly for this conversation, I know you defined it earlier, and I also defined it in the other picture, but just for the sake of this conversation, what does riparian mean?
Well, break it down for us, because we need some clarification on how you got it from Kemet.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Let me actually show where I have it right here. So I think you all should be able to see my screen.
Yep.
So all three of these are variations of the exact same word, and this is talking about or referring to the kingdom that most people call ancient Egypt. And so this is the word Kemet, transliterated all the same, and we will pronounce it today the same way, and it means riparian country. So here's the meaning of riparian. Riparian means relating to or situated on the banks of a river. So let me stop there. Is ancient Egypt not situated on the banks of a river?
It's on the banks of a river.
Okay, so we both agree that ancient Kemet does, or ancient Egypt is situated on the banks of a river, and that's where the population of people lived, and they made use of the Nile River.
That's correct.
I think we can agree with that. So the second part of this, the other notion of this meaning, is that it relates to wetlands that are adjacent to rivers or streams, and so we can agree that that applies as well to ancient Egypt, especially the fanning out of the tributaries in the delta area where the Nile splits up and fans out. So we have adjacent rivers and streams. So when we say the Nile Valley culture or the Nile River Valley culture, that's another way of saying riparian, although people don't use the word RIPARIAN, riparian.
Right.
So all I'm doing is using a different word to say the same thing. I'm introducing people to the word riparian because most people don't use that word and have never really used it, or may have even come across it.
Right.
So that's all I'm doing.
And it's a great dictionary term. The thing is, phonetically, we're talking about Kemet, which means black land when broken down phonetically, and also in this case would mean the black nation. We couldn't get around that phonetically. We couldn't get around it when we transcribed it. Hold up. We couldn't get around it when we transliterate or transcribe it or translate it with the Medu Neter, the words that you've shown on the screen. Riparian country is good because that's part of the Nile. It's also a place with pyramids. It's also a place with sand, but none of those are in the picture you showed there. So we can't put those in to the statement if we're just reading. That's why I say there's a difference between grammatically speaking and grammatically writing something. So right there, you don't have riparian country. So we can't say that grammatically.
Okay, so when you keep saying phonetically and everything like that, in the word Kemet, there's a picture of an owl.
Right.
But nowhere in the definition or the translation that people give do people say the owl country or anything with the word owl in it. So let's just,
we're talking phonetically. We're talking about sounds, not pictures, not the ideograms.
No. Well, what you just said earlier, just now, you said there's no picture of a riparian and all that. So I'm just going by what you said.
Well, there's no picture of waterway there, and that's what riparian means. So where are you getting riparian from the pictures that you have up that act as ideograms?
Okay, so on the one that I'm putting my cursor on the left, what is that last glyph right there?
That's a different picture. That's waterway.
Okay, but you just said that I'm not showing a picture with a waterway.
Yeah, because you didn't in the other one. Did you not see the difference between the people and the brush strokes?
This picture is the exact. wait, okay. But
show the other picture real quick. Let's see if waterway is there.
Okay.
See, Kemet is here. Remember when you changed it? I said, "There you go. I love the new one you put up." But go back to the first one you had up, and let's go from there.
Okay, so to be clear, these three words right here are the toponyms for the place name Kemet.
Right.
Okay, so I just want everybody to be clear. And so I'm defining this toponym as, I'm transliterating as KMT, and I'm giving the Egyptological spelling and pronunciation how we do it today, Kemet. And then I'm giving the meaning as the riparian country. Okay, so just so everybody's clear. So now I'm going to show the one you just asked for, which was the one that sparked the conversation, which is this one here.
Right.
Okay, so now in this picture right here, this set of glyphs is not talking about the country.
Right.
Okay, so but I explained that to you, that this one's talking about the nation. So when you see it worded right here, the nation of the riparian country,
you're good.
Of the riparian country is simply a prepositional phrase that further qualifies the nation or the word nation in here. So if you can take this out, because if I say the nation of the riparian country is strong, I can take of the parent country out and just say the nation is strong.
Well, you're talking about the people in that sense. And when
Right.
you add the waterway, remember
Just,
when you hold up, when you add the waterway, remember that determinatives makes your adjective become a noun adjective, which means you also have a description in the other one you showed.
okay.
So it will be of the black water or the black waterway or the black land. But you're leaving that adjective out of there for some reason. And you shouldn't, because even when you use iat, which is waterway, which would show riparian, even when you write it, it starts kimi iat, which means black water.
Well, Kemet, yeah, wouldn't be black water though.
Oh, wouldn't?
No, because Kemet will come after. Remember, attributive adjectives come after the substantive that they modify. So it'll be iat Kem or iat Kemet. All right. So just so that we're clear.
Except for when it's a predicate, and this is the difference between English and Medu Nature, because the noun generally will come after the adjective in English, and it comes or it comes before the noun in English, and it comes after the noun in Medu Nature. In this case, you can see, and this is why I say I did the demonstration. You should check it. You can see where they're taking the adjective Kim, and it becomes a noun adjective. And as you said, and as I said, if you would have heard the video, adjectives are nouns.
Yeah.
So that is how the noun adjective Kim becomes a part of the word. And so if you use iat and you use it as a place name, the 7 times it's written as a place name, it says Kimi iat. And so you cannot get rid of the black part, because in the demotic, Kimi means
so let's
black.
just be clear again that there's no dispute about the existence of an adjective Kim, meaning black, in the language. So I'm not sure why a lot of people keep saying that over and over again as if anyone's arguing against that. Okay, so it's fully known and developed and not disputed that there's an adjective Kim that means black in the language. And the feminine and the
I don't want to cut your wisdom, but I think this is good for me and it's good for everybody else, right? So what you're saying, what you calling it just a place name, right? So you're saying in the place name Kemet, the word Kem doesn't mean black in that sense.
it's not the adjective. It's not the adjective. That's correct.
Okay, so where does what does the word Kem mean in Kemet? What does it mean? Where did it come? If it doesn't mean black, what does it mean?
Okay. In the okay, so I won't confuse anyone. Now
So using this glyph though that we have on there where we know that it's talking about people, what does that mean?
okay, I have the meaning on the screen. So the glyph that you see on the screen, if you're talking about this one, I have the meaning under it. So this set of glyphs here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 glyphs. The 3 strokes count as one, is counted as one glyph by scholars. These 5 glyphs is transliterated as KMT. We pronounce it as Kemet, and it means the nation of the riparian country. In other words, it's referring to the people of Kemet.
Right, but that's the problem that we as people who read will have. Why are you taking black out of Kem? What makes you do that? Like,
okay, I just said that this particular Kim is not the adjective black. So I don't know how else to say that.
Okay. So Kem doesn't mean black. All right.
Wait, hold on. That's not correct. Kim, there is a Kim that means black. There is a Kim that means black, and I can't stress that enough. There is a Kim that means black. It's just that this particular Kim, like for example, Alan, are you able to share your screen?
No, not now. In 10 minutes I will be.
Okay, so
I'll be on my crib.
Okay, so we're still on in 10 minutes. What I would ask you to do is if you could share your dictionary that you were pasting, because even in your dictionary, you can see several different words that are Kim, that are transliterated as Kim, and they all don't mean black. And for example, there's there have been scholars that raised the question of Kemet meaning the completed country. And the reason why is because there is a word Kim that means completion. It means to complete or to finish or the end of something. And their rationale for raising that question is because Kemet is at the completion of the Nile River. Everyone knows that the Nile doesn't originate in Egypt at all. It originates in further south, and it ends in Egypt, and it has it dumps into the Mediterranean Sea. So they raised that question and show that that's an equal possibility of meaning. And so, but what they did not do, and this is what I was expressing inside the inbox, there is no scholar that has actually done the linguistic work to determine if it's the completed land, if the chem in there is the word one for completion, if it's the one for black, or if it's the one for something else. No scholar to this very date has done that work until recently.
Right.
Until
All
recently.
right. So I guess that scholar would be Mboli, according to you. Um,
Well,
when I'm looking
hold on,
at when you
one sec, just for clarification,
uh
it's more than Emboli. Emboli is one.
yeah, there's another brother.
Uh,
I don't know how to pronounce his name,
okay, no,
but
just for the listeners, let me just get him
I'm
out.
sorry, Kai did it on the last show. Go ahead, bro.
Okay, so we have Emboli is one, Fuma is another, Bilolo is another, and Kipkuit Sambu is one, and those are the ones that I had mentioned in the inbox. Just for people.
right. So when I'm looking at this, when you say that no one has done this study to show what the word, when you see Kemet, does it mean black land?
Hold on, Alan, because you echoing. Mute your mic real quick, Joe. He echoing, adding them up.
All right, sorry about that.
Right.
Let me mute myself. Go ahead.
So when I look at Kemet from Faulkner, right, they give the same glyphs when you're dealing with chem. So they'll say that chem is it could be burnt wood, it can mean charcoal, or it can mean burnt. And they'll just say black. And the determiner will tell you what it is. When I look at Faulkner, it'll tell you when we see that glyph with the owl and that wood thing there and the place name, that little circle with the things in it and that, he says the black land. All right. When I look at James P. Allen, the same thing in his middle Egyptian book. Give me 1 second, because I gotta grab that back again. He goes even further with this. He says that the word Kemet, English Egypt, literally means black, referring to the soil of the Nile. See essay 2. And when the essay, he speaks about peace, brother. He speaks about what you saying when you see the people, when you see the strokes, versus when you seeing the thing for place. So every single person that I'm reading says black. When I look at let our ancestors, what it says in the ancestors book, says the same thing. When I'm looking at it, he describes it on the page, especially when he's talking about gender and number in the middle letter. He talks about the femininity and he talks about black place. That's what he says. So I'm not understanding that. So when you say that this word doesn't always mean black, we know because it can mean black book or something. Because I saw something where it says black, it says Kemi, and it has other words at the end what signify what it's talking about. It doesn't say black book in the definition that I saw. It says something different. But when it comes to this place name and what we're looking at, every single scholar I read, from Budge going all the way down. So when we start talking about that historical method, how they reconstruct language, I'm looking at Coptic, and they use this to help decipher this. So when I look in Egypt and I look in the Coptic, I see the same words almost. And when I'm looking at it, black land, and I see the same thing. When I look in Demotic, these are the things that's on the Rosetta Stone. We see the same thing. So when you say that people didn't do that work, they did some kind of corresponding with the actual living languages, the last one being Coptic. So I don't understand, like, I don't get it. It's confusing to me, bro.
Okay, so let me try to clarify for you.
Let me mute this.
Okay.
Khonsu, chime in when Wudjau finish, because I know you're not just on here for that. Go ahead, Brother Wolf.
Okay, so let me clarify what is meant by no scholar has demonstrated. So As we explain in our book, and we explain in all the videos, and we explain in all the posts, that all of the scholars, if you open up any of the dictionaries and you look up the place name Kemet, they will define that as Egypt, and then usually they have in parentheses or in quotations or whatever, the Black Land. So no one is disputing that that's what scholars do. So from James P. Allen, who doesn't have a dictionary, but in his grammar book and his other texts, he will always have that there. Faulkner, you have Dickerson, which is the dictionary that you used, Budge, everybody. You can name them. You can name a whole list, and I have them all. No one disputes that that's what scholars do. That is different than those same scholars actually showing you how they derived at that conclusion. That's what they do not do. They don't do that. The scholars are assuming that the Kim in the word Kemet is the adjective black, but they don't show or demonstrate how that's so at all. No scholar up until recently, up until we address this in this day and time right now, as of maybe last year.
So on JSTAR and JSTAR all through the 70s, there's these major article that talks about Egyptian grammar and Coptic and Arabic Egyptian and Egyptian languages, and they show this correspondence by looking at Coptic. Are you saying that that study was never done, where they did this correspondence between the last speech of Kemet to that point? That wasn't a study, bro. Is that what you're telling us?
No,
Because
that's
I got it. I could give it to you. Because
no,
these are linguistics who are doing the correspondence.
okay. But I was waiting for you to mute it because I think it's an echo.
Oh, my bad. Hold up.
So,
well, answer this and then let the brother Khonsu hop in real quick.
okay. So to answer your question, no, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm seeing as the problem is I don't think you understand what needs to be demonstrated, because when you just compare Coptic, that's not the demonstration. I can pick up a Coptic. When I say all dictionaries, I mean I'm inclusive of the Coptic dictionary. I have all the dictionaries. I can open up the Coptic dictionary right now, and you look up Kemi, it will tell you Egypt, and then it'll put Black Land. So just looking at one dictionary and another one and another one, that's not doing the work. The work to find the meaning of a word is a work of semantics, more specifically etymology. And so no etymological work has been done. And in order to do that, you have to cover 6 areas. And no scholar has done that. And see, we explain all this. So I'm really just giving a very concise, short answer, because we have a whole video explaining this and explaining the process. But it's
I got what you're saying, but it's still using that historical method to get to like see the sound correspondence, etc. So if we say what you're just saying, right?
That's not true, though.
Okay, I'm gonna send it to you, and then you'll be able to see it yourself. So you're saying that they didn't do this correspondence with this language or demonic? You're saying that didn't happen? I'm telling you that it did because I had the studies on it. So now, I'm gonna let you go because I don't want to get to, because my thing about to go over before I go upstairs. Listen, right? So when you say that, that would be the same thing picking any word in Kemet, like amen or any word. So just in the word Kemet, because it says black, and this is a problem. You saying that we could say that for all the words then? Like, did they do that for every single word?
Right.
It's either you transliterated it or you did not transliterate it. To say that they didn't do that method the same way they did every other word when they first started looking at it, when they first saw the names in the Khonsu, you saying that they didn't do none of this stuff. This is what you're trying to say. So that means that all words in Kemet, any word that I could think about, anything, eerie, anything I think about, you saying, oh, they didn't show the correspondence. If you can't show me 6 correspondences that you're speaking about, then I'm gonna say, nah, they ain't deciphered.
Okay, so let me just address that quickly. So again, this is the 3rd time I'm gonna say this. That is not what I'm saying, because you're misunderstanding what I'm saying and trying to tell you're wondering if that's what I'm saying, although I'm constantly telling you that's not what I'm saying. So The thing is, and plus, you don't have to do it for all the words. These are specific words. These are derived words because some words are already in their root form. So that's not true. You have to do it for all words. Any word that you have a question about or raising doubt about, you would definitely need to do that work. So what happens is if people accept the dictionary as all wise, right, and exact, then nobody's going to back check or triple check or double check and reassess anything in the dictionary because they already accept the dictionary full stop. But those of us who see problems in some of the translations and stuff like that, we don't rely on the dictionaries because we have scientific tools available to us to fact check the ones that come up and are questionable. And there, wait, one second, one second, real quick. So there are people who attempted to do etymological dictionaries of the Egyptian language. So you do have one exist. There's only 2 volumes that's public right now for, I think, the letter M, all the words with M. And I believe that all the words with B. So
I got that book. It's
okay,
a yellow book.
Right. So when you say that you should do it, then that could be said for all the words. Scholars know this. It's just that nobody has done that work yet. And the ones who attempted, they only have 2 volumes that's public right now. So it's not something that's new or unknown or anything like that. What you're talking about, and I have the studies that you're talking about, what you're talking about is not, we're not talking about the same thing. That's not an etymological study. All they're doing is tracing the Coptic back to its Middle Egyptian or Late Egyptian counterpart. That's all that they're doing. And it's not very hard to see that Kemet, the T is dropped and Chemi is the same word. So that's not the study. That's not what I'm talking about whatsoever. It is the scientific method and the tools that are available in linguistics to actually trace this stuff out. That is what's never been done until recently. That's what I'm saying to you.
And they're using the Kalenjin script in order to do so. I proposed the Maasai, and I haven't showed my work, but I proposed the Maasai and the Somali, and I'm looking into the Kuku because those are the 3, I want to say, possibly initial people that were there. And the Kalenjin had to be because they rep Aset, and the Maasai rep the Ilisar clan, and the Kuku rep the Heru clan. But that's a whole nother subject. Brother Khonsu, hop in here. Khonsu on mute. Keep going, brother.
Okay, so what I wanted to say, just to what you just said, no one uses the Kalenjin script though. It's comparisons are made with the Kalenjin language. Yeah, comparisons are made with the Kalenjin language by Kalenjin speakers. The scholar of Kipkuit Sambu is one of those speakers. That's his native language and everything. So, so again, I just want to make sure that Alan is straight in understanding what I'm talking about. So let me, if I may, let me just share my screen again, just to make sure that everyone is on the same page when it comes to the work that I'm referring to. So the work I'm referring to is involving etymology. Now, everybody's familiar with etymology because we could look in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, and at the bottom of the listings, you can see the etymology of a word, like the word toponym. It says etymology is topos and onym, from Greek topos, Greek onym, meaning place, name. So everybody's familiar with that, but a lot of people are not familiar with the process on how that's accomplished. And so this particular book here is called The Continuum Companion of Historical Linguistics. And in here, everybody can read it, but I'm just going to read it real quick. It's not that long. It says the big difference between Socrates' approach and the modern etymology is that nowadays one tries to argue systematically in all strata, in phonology, morphology, and in semantics / pragmatics, and also extra linguistically, the philology and culture. One also takes into account the historical developments. If one wants to be a productive and successful expert in etymology, one has to thoroughly study all the areas mentioned. And so these are the areas summed up. You got phonology, morphology, semantics, pragmatics, philology, culture, and history. If you don't go through each of these areas in your methodology, in your process to uncover or ascertain the etymology of a word, then you are leaving yourself open, vulnerable to make mistakes. And so this is the process that I'm speaking.
Right. So now, what I'm having an issue with that is, in the book, you read the book "Let Our Ancestors Speak," right?
Sure have. Yes, indeed.
Every single chapter is dealing with that. They have every chapter that deals with individually and goes into depth on and shows you how they derive and how he's inscribing this. So why does he have that?
Okay, let me answer that. Uncle Rah's book, Let the Ancestors Speak, it is a grammar book. It does not go into the areas that I just showed. So I don't know where you got that from.
Okay, so I'm gonna start reading the chapters for you then. So remember what you just said.
Sure.
Hold up.
Just go
Hold on.
to the table of contents and just read the table of contents.
Damn, man. This shit about to fucking go, man. Hold up.
Okay, I'm saying you could. I tell you what, I'll do you better. If your thing is gonna die, I can share it for you.
Hold up. Yeah, so let's get to that. The history is in the first part, right? Hold
I'll
on.
be right back, y'all.
Hold on.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Man, let me walk faster, man. My thing about to hit off, man. So if it cut off, you know what? Hold up. Where's this at? So we in the first chapter here, right? Introduction. Okay, first chapter, right?
Read the table of
It
contents.
says that's what I'm looking at now. Part 1.
Okay. All right.
A case for African origins.
All right.
Evolution of the language. Divisions of the language, learning the formal language of Kemet, beauty and symmetry, orientation of the script, phonograms, types of phonograms, monoliteral, sign, list, formal, cursive, popular, the biliteral. So you know, if you read the book in the beginning, they start talking about Dr. Ben and all these other individuals in the book from the beginning. And he starts looking at African cultures throughout in little aspects of the book. So that covers at least 2 of those. Now, the second one is what you were speaking about. What is this? And B, cursive symbolism. That's a part of the knowing the actual culture by knowing the symbolism of the African culture. That's in there. And let's keep on going. So you see.
Oh, did he cut out? Okay, Alan, I think you cut out. At least I can't hear you. So just so there's no dead space in the conversation, again, I just want to reiterate that Uncle Rah's book is an Egyptian grammar book. It does not go through these 6 areas that I just showed in terms of the methodology to ascertain etymology. All right. So that's not the purpose of that book. The purpose of that book, Uncle Rah's Let the Ancestors Speak, is to give a description of Egyptian grammar. So if you look at the subtitle of the book and everything like that, it says a guide to the grammar of the language of Kemet. So it's not covering those things. So I'm not sure where you got that from or whatever the case is. So I'm just pointing that out. And in the table of contents that you were reading from, let's see, he goes into, because you got cut off, so I'm just going to continue to read. It's a long table of contents, so I'm not going to read everything. But part 1, as you already read, a case of African origins, evolution of the language, division of the language, learning the formal language of Kemet, beauty and symmetry, orientation of the script, phonograms, types of phonograms. You got monoliterals, so on, biliterals, so on. And then he has an excursus, where he has like a essay. Then he got biliteral signs, triliteral signs, phonetic complements, biliteral group writing, determinatives, ideograms, and stroke determinatives. Then he has an essay B. And then he goes into the article, orthographic anomalies, abbreviations, graphic transposition, and so on and so forth. So none of that deals with anything that I showed at all. And then part 2 is where he actually goes into the more grammatical elements. So he talks about the noun, the adjective, the numbers, the pronoun. Then he goes to the verb, the adverbs, preposition, conjunction, particles. Then he talks about part 3 is syntax. And then he goes into some readings. A few readings of the Tomb of Kai, the Hotel du Nasut formula, and so on and so forth. So again, I repeat, nothing in Uncle Rah's book is a focus on ascertaining etymology,
Right.
as I was saying. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone's clear on that.
Yep, that's correct.
So let me just to come back to you, Asar. Now, okay, just allow me to do this real quick because I've always said that this misunderstanding is a quick fix. Okay, and I say it's a quick fix because all we have to do is go back to the original post.
This ain't the original though. That's the second post.
Huh? Say it again.
That's the second post though, not the original.
No, this the original post right here. Just on my screen.
Okay. Yup.
Yeah. So this post, now when you saw it, you saw it after it was bumped up. You know, just to get some context. So this is the original post, right? And we already went through the picture. So you really didn't have no issue with what I was actually talking about in the post. So, but you had a question about repair, you know, how I got riparian country out of it. And what I was trying to tell you in the post is that, okay, if you want to ask me about all of that, create another post for it, because this post is really just about the transliteration of feminine plurals versus feminine collectives. And so that's what I was letting you know. But if you look at the order, here's your first comment. You say, the question I believe is this though. Are you saying the term Kemet as proposed in your post is not referring to black as in a description?
Correct.
Right.
And that would be because we've got our I6 right there, which acts like a noun adjective.
Well, I6 is simply a phonograph that represents two consonants, a K and an M.
I6 is a biliteral that becomes a noun adjective when you put a determinative at the end of it.
No, I'm saying the I6 glyph itself is simply a phonograph representing two consonants. You said biliteral, and that's correct. That's why I said two consonants, K and M. That's all it means. That's all it does. It could be used in any word that has those two consonants in it. So it doesn't necessarily mean black. It's in and of itself. Okay, so it just represents the two sounds. The K
can change, right? Absolutely. But in this instance, it's talking about the people, and it's talking about the nation. And you referred to the riparian country, and the riparian country, because that's not there in the Medu, is always referred to as the black land due to that biliteral becoming a noun adjective.
Okay, so see, just what I'm saying, you said I'm talking about the country, but like in this phrase right here, let me just ask you, if I were to say, now let's just switch out the words riparian country, and let's just put Kemet back in there. Okay. If I say the nation of Kemet, am I focused, is the head word in that phrase, is it Kemet or is it the nation?
Well, in that case, it would depend on the rest of the context, right? Because I could say
just that, like if
you could be talking about people, you could be talking about country, you could be talking about the people and the country. We need context.
Okay, but wait. All right, so why? Okay, how if I say the nation of the riparian country, how
we're talking about people?
Okay. So what puzzled me was, if you can read this and know I was talking about people, then I was puzzled on why did you ask me if I'm talking about country? And because of I was puzzled. That's when I showed you this one. Let me show this one. That's why I showed. Okay, what happened to my cursor here? Okay, here we go. That's why I showed this one. I showed this picture to let you see the difference, that if I were talking about the country and not people, this is what I would be showing, or this is what we would be talking about. But it wasn't. That is a totally different thing.
Right. And when you showed that one, because you can see in there it's referring to the toponym and never people, it threw me off. So then I was like, hold up, he just showed me a sentence. Because remember, you showed the sentence. When you showed that sentence, I read the sentence in Medu. I said, okay, he's talking about a people. But then, and that's because we needed in context when it's a feminine T or feminine plural to see what he's talking about exactly.
Okay,
And,
so let me show that so that people, because I don't want to,
right.
while people may be watching your video, let me just show that real quick, and then you could talk. You can say what.
I ain't shared it yet. We'll share this later, but we.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine. But I'm saying just for the sake of everybody following along. So you should be able to see it on the screen now.
Yeah. So
this is the picture that you're talking about when you say context. So when you ask me for context, I gave you this.
Right. And once you gave me that, I said, okay, we're talking about people. But after you show this, you pull up the picture of the last one the one you showed before the last one you just showed, which talks about the country. And I said, hold up, I thought we was just talking about people.
Okay,
so we were in a conundrum because I was like, and then that's when I started asking you. I said, so are you talking about people, place, I said people, place, or country? But when I said that, I meant people or country, basically, which is place anyway. But when I did that, I'm saying, why would you show this one as an answer? And then you wouldn't answer me about people for a while. So I was like,
oh, I did. I answered it right away. I could show the thing, and the way you probably saw it on your phone or whatever, you may not have saw it, but I answered you right back to back. That's why I said go back to the post. You'll see where I answered you directly right after. But let me just ask you this: so if you're looking at this, and the implication already is about people, I'm just trying to find out at what point did you get confused? Because like you just now said that if I just tell you the nation of X, and right now X is the riparian country, but I could switch X for the nation of Kemet, the nation of Mozambique, the nation of Kenya, the nation of whatever. If I say the nation of whatever, the focus is on the nation. The head word is the nation or nation. And so it's talking about people.
Right. So that's why I said you're talking about people, but
that's correct.
Right. But if we say riparian country, now we're saying a whole term, a whole phrase, and we have no EOT waterway in there. And this is why I start. Well, hold up, let me finish, man. When I say that, the reason I say that is because me and you know, and most of the community, the community around us linguistically has been talking about Kemet, the black land, or Kemet, the riparian country, or as we would say, the waterway, or what the determinative would mean. So I'm like, are you guys saying riparian country because you don't want to say the black land? Because technically that's what we would read phonetically.
Well, that's not the case at all. And this word right here is not talking about the country. It's not
talking about the people.
Right. And
so when you put riparian country, like I asked earlier, where are you getting the rest of this phrase from?
No, okay, so my
point.
Okay, so my question for clarity, because I'm trying to find the actual point of where things went sideways. So you asked me about the riparian country, but irregardless if I say repair, I could have put anything. I could have put the nation of Oogla Boogla. Regardless of what I put after of, you do understand that I'm referring to people though. So
you're talking about the people. That was clear for me first. In the post, it shows that.
Okay, so where did it switch? I'm saying because if it was clear to you at first, I'm trying to find out where did it become not clear.
Well, there's two things going on. You got riparian country, which is not in the term, it's in this word at all.
Yeah, but saying
so I could explain, brother. So it's not in this word at all. But with it not being in this word, and we know it's not in the word, we should say Kemet, and we should be talking about those black people from Kemet, because that's basically what it's entailing.
Okay, so now that's great, but again, no matter what I put after the word of, like I said, just as a hypothetical crazy example, let's just say I put the nation of Oogla Boogla.
Right. But there's no nation other than the people. So remember, nation has three contexts. Nation can mean country. If we say this phrase here, if we say
No,
I'm going to visit the nation of China,
no, but
so I ask you, are we talking about a place or are we talking about a people? If I say I talk to if I talk to the nation of China, now I'm speaking directly to people who live in China. So it has different contexts for the term nation, because it can also mean country by itself. It can also mean people by itself. It can also mean people and country together.
okay, so let me just say something that this would make no sense if nation in this phrase, as you see it on the screen, meant country, because I'll be saying the country of the repairing country, and that makes absolutely no sense. So everyone in their mother knows that the nation part of this phrase is talking about people, because I'm saying the nation of a country. I'm
Right.
just calling it the riparian country though. So no one should in their right mind think that I'm saying the country of the country. That makes no sense whatsoever.
But the question is, were you referring to the people in the country of Kemet, the black land, or the country of the riparian country, which would be Eot? And no country should be mentioned because there's nothing to do with country. That's why I say, how did you come up with the whole English phrase from
No.
what is just a word? It should say, then it should say black people.
Okay, so
It doesn't say Remech here, even though Remech is spelled similar. It doesn't say Remech. So we would have to only connotate what the adjective now or what the noun adjective states, and right there would say these are black people. This is a black nation, and that doesn't mean all of Kemet is black. That just means that right here we're referring to, according to the noun adjective, black people.
okay, but the thing, see, you and I definitely have a disagreement on what the word Kemet literally means.
I know, that's why we posted that.
I know. So, but that shouldn't hinder us from sorting this out. What I'm trying to get you to understand is that no matter what I put right here, you should have known, and you said you did know, that I was talking about people. And so this should not have thrown you off whatsoever. The only reason why I put of the riparian country is because I originally had it written like this, the nation of Kemet, and then I had riparian country in parentheses because I'm showing people that Kemet means, this is how I'm defining the word.
Exactly.
So regardless of whatever, you have to understand, whether I say Kemet by itself and take this off, or I take Kemet off and put this, no matter, in any of those cases, I am talking about people. Like that shouldn't throw you off. I could say
that never threw me off. Like I said, the part that threw me off is how you came up with the riparian country in the term for people.
No, but I'm saying, so the question will become, how do I come away with any country? Like,
exactly, because it's not talking about country, it's talking about a nation of people. There's no country marker in there.
I know, but this word is not talking about country either. This is, listen, when you say, if I say the soldier of the king, the focus is on the soldier. When I say of the king, I'm just explaining a possession. Whose soldier? Or I'm describing the soldier more. I'm offering more information about the soldier. Whose soldier? Right. The king's soldier. So I'm saying the nation that belongs to Kemet. So we could take this off. That should not be
right.
confusing.
But here's the only issue right there. See how you're giving me a full phrase? There's no full phrase there, which is why I was wondering, where is he getting the rest of this from?
Okay,
so
but
what you're doing essentially, you are saying the nation, but then you're adding where they're from also in the English terminology. But grammatically in Medu Neter, we do not see riparian country. You're just adding to the word. You're making it a full phrase in English, but we don't see that there.
Okay, so when you say, now I got to address what you just said though. Again, I repeat what I said earlier on in the show, that when you translate from a source language into a target language, there is rarely, if at all, a one-for-one swap. So you have to add some other words and things according to the target language's grammar. So like for example, if I say Remich Kemet, if I show you Remich Kemet,
Now you got a phrase.
no,
now
but
you got people of Kemet. Now, if you want to do that,
hold up. Now,
go ahead.
if I say Remich Kemet, I want to ask you, how do you translate Remich Kemet?
Now that is the people of the Black land.
Okay, now,
or if we just if we just take it as a morph and we don't add anything to it, we just said,
okay, but
we just said, hold up, we said it to make a term, Commissions Black land, or we said people Black land. That's what we said in that term. If we add nothing to it.
Okay, but now I ask you, Remich Kemet, how would you translate that? How do you
now, if I translate it,
that's
I'm gonna add a few things. I would say I'm gonna add the, I'm gonna add and add of.
Okay.
And I'd say the people of the Black land.
Okay, so my point in asking you that is I want everyone to notice that you added 2 articles and a preposition.
Yes.
That's not in the glyphs and it's not in the literal script there at all. It's not there at all.
Right.
So, and I'm showing that is because that becomes necessary in all cases.
Translation. Right.
For translation. So this is no different. When I have the nation of Kemet, I'm simply pointing to the people that belong to Kemet. And I have nation here is because of what nation means. Nation is the abstract referent or abstract label to refer to people as a group or a collective in the abstract. So if I say the nation of India is at war with the nation of Israel, then we know that literally the land is not going to be firing missiles and fighting each other. It's the people. So we do it to this day. It's called national personification, and we do it to this
we know what national personification is, though. That's not the misconception. What the misconception is this. We're talking, and this is the difference, because you're thinking and speaking grammatically. With grammatical speech is different than grammatical writing. So when you made the example, Remech and Kemet, you have people and you have Kemet. When you have here Kemet, and then you add riparian nation and no, because we only have one word. So if you're going to add different articles, they have to be attached to the nouns that are visible. And right here, we don't have any other visible noun. We don't have the country noun. We have just the people. So when you say the nation, you're good. If you add riparian country in parentheses, it's okay, because we understand you're saying they are attached to this particular country, but you do not have that in the Medu Netra. So in that case, we're doing different than making a transliteration and a translation. What we're doing is adding to the phrase. That is not a phrase, it's just a word. Had it been a determinative, maybe we might have a phrase, but it's not in this instance.
Okay, so if I say let me just give an example, because you said something that needs to be addressed. Let me just show my screen. I'm just gonna type this out just so for the sake of everything.
I'm gonna let you have the last word too, because my girl want me to go to bed. She over here like, oh, come on.
Wrap this up, and I tell you, Mrs. I apologize for taking your time. So here's a word on the screen, and I'm not sure everybody can see it. Let me blow it up just so everybody can see it. Okay, I have this word. This word is pronounced Nitasema. All right, it is a Kiswahili word. Okay, now in Kiswahili, this is one word, as plain as day. You can see it is one word, Nitasema. All right, now if I were to translate this in English, I had to translate it as I will speak. Now notice that I'm using 3 English words for this one word. So the fact that one word is being translated as 3 or multiple words or 2 words or 5 words or whatever is irrelevant, because because of the nature of how languages work. So just because this only appears to be one word, when we bring it into English, you're not restricted to one word. Just like I'm not restricted to bring this Kiswahili word into English as one word. It's impossible for me to do that, as a matter of fact. This one word means this. I will speak. You can talk to any Kiswahili person, and they will say, "Okay, it's the future tense of the verb speak, which is speak."
Right. We could use Chinese, and we could
right.
It's Chinese and make a whole sentence out of it. But
it's everywhere. So that speaks to your point that's not the point you were trying to make a second ago. That's just not the case. Just because it's one word it has no consequence on that.
No, in Medu Netra there are rules though, and so when we talk phonetically, we know we're talking about sounds, and so we know those sounds make a particular word, and we know these particular sounds make a particular word. So when we start adding to the phrase, then we have to make sure that we qualify the rest of the phonetic sounds that are there. So if we add a whole nother phonetic sound from the language that has a representation for itself, then we've added to something that's not there. We've created something that's not there. And so where there are certain determinatives that mean a whole sentence on their own, this one does not mean riparian country because we have an exact phonetic spelling of what country in Kemet means. We also have an exact phonetic spelling of what the people of Kemet mean.
Okay.
And we also have sentences which show the difference between the people in the nation, and the sentence you showed earlier would show the people of that nation. Now, go ahead and get the last word because I got to go to bed.
All right. So I just want to keep reiterating that this set of glyphs that people are looking at is not referring to the country. The only reason why you see of, the, riparian, and country in this meaning is to give more context to what this is talking about. In a strict sense, this word is simply talking about a group of people, but people could be any people. So you have to narrow down which people. Where are they? You know, where is this? These are people who are located where? They're located in a country that's called Kemet. The only difference is that I am also translating the word Kemet. So if I show you this example, I do just that. I have both. I have the nation of Kemet, and I put in parentheses the riparian country, and that's real simple. People do it all the time. If I say, for example, Amenhotep, most people will call Amenhotep, and not translate his name, not know that his name means the imperceivable one who is content. So people do this all the time. You either leave words untranslated and just roll with it, or you fully translate the entire thing. And that's all I did here was I translated Kemet as the riparian country. And if that is troublesome to anybody, just use the word Kemet, the nation of Kemet. If nobody should have a problem with me saying, or anybody saying, the nation of Kemet. So I know your girl definitely
right. But except for you translated Kimi Iyat right there. But I'm with you. Yeah.
no, but I asked you earlier. What like, for example, if everybody looks at this, you know, the entire country was called Kemet. Okay.
No, just a locale in particular.
Right.
And then eventually that name grew.
Well, from the 11th dynasty, the entire kingdom was called Kemet, and they started using it titularies. But my point here, though, is that Kemet, what you're looking at on the actual overhead, the satellite map, is you're looking at a combination of Kemet and Deshret together, and both of these together were called Kemet in terms of the entire country. But they differentiated that the part of the land where everybody lived, which hugged the Nile River and it was accessible to water, and then the parts that didn't. And so Kemet, as it's defined through the scientific process that we are showing, is that the focus is not on the color black. The focus is on wetness, just like the word deshret is not the focus on the color red. It's actually a focus on dryness. So the dichotomy is not the colors black and red. The dichotomy is between wetness or dampness versus dryness. That's the dichotomy that was the focus of these particular words, and we explain all that. So I know you got to go, and I appreciate us having this dialogue, and everything. But I know, happy house. What is it? Happy house, happy house.
happy wife, happy life. Absolutely.
Happy house, happy spouse. So I'm gonna leave it at that, and I appreciate the conversation. But let me just ask you, close out. So from this point forward, are we clear? So what do we disagree by us leaving, parting our ways right now? What do we still disagree on, if anything?
Pretty much we look pretty solid. Kemet is the black land. Kemet Iyat would be the black waters, or would be the watery the black watery way, or which we didn't get into happy and all that other stuff. We're pretty much solid concerning that. That's why I was telling you it wasn't such a big deal. I just needed to know where you're adding this riparian country information, and the reason I asked that is because of what we just covered.
Okay. So all right, fair enough, man. But I just so that we clear, I don't know.
One thing, hold up. There's one thing we gotta, because you also said if we lived by Blue Nile, we wouldn't be called the Blue Nile people. So I'm gonna bring you on here tomorrow because I'm gonna break down.
Wait, I didn't say now people though. I never said that.
Okay, some girl said it on your website. Shout out to her. And if
I never said that because I never used that example. Right. I never used that example, but I mean that still makes sense, because like if I say Abu, the word Abu means elephant, and Abu is a toponym, and the people that live there, nobody calls them elephants. Like the people elephants, nobody described them as elephants. It's just, but
you have the people of Tyr who are known for making purple dye, and they became known as the purple people, if you will, or the people of Tyr, people of purple. And the word in Greek actually derives from that, and that's where we get the word purple from.
Yeah,
it's the rock place they lived on.
That's a very good example. But the people themselves are not the color purple.
No, we say they're the color, but they're known for making the color purple.
Right. Okay. So now, but what I want to leave with though is that I also agree with you that I think that everything has been clarified, but we still do disagree on Kemet. Like your stance is that Kemet means black land. My stance is that Kemet means riparian land. So that still remains. I just want to make sure that we
absolutely. And I think that the waterway term is in there absolutely, because obviously we know it's water, and we also know that it leaves the black soot, which it was known for as a toponym. So absolutely.
All right. So as long as we're good, and so that's it. And appreciate it. And I will say peace to everybody.
Imitep, Uncle Astajed, Uncle Jasaneb, remember who you are and be in the SAR. If you need them linguistics, you need to see my man Wudjau, you better come see your boy as well, in case there needs to be clarifications. And that astronomy is over here as well. Imitep. Khonsu, wake up! Khonsu! Imitep.